Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make some beautiful embellished candles. We're actually going to use store-bought candles from the Dollar Tree to make this pretty craft that would be so nice to decorate your home or to even use as like wedding favors. I think if you pair this candle with one of these wood slices, these are from Arteza, but you could also, make your own wood slices if you have logs. I thought that would be such a pretty like place setting for a rustic wedding or just to decorate your home for springtime. It's a very easy project and you probably have a lot of the stuff that you need on hand. If not, just go to your Dollar Tree. You'll be able to find pretty much everything you need. Now I am using some flowers that my daughter had saved from Valentine's Day that she just let dry out. She just let a bouquet go dry, and I just pulled off some petals there. You can use thicker things like baby's breath, but it is a little more difficult to get them attached, so I would stick to something flat to begin with. Dried leaves are really nice. I even have some skeleton leaves here. I might try a skeleton leaf. Mine are kind of big, so I'm not sure, but they definitely would work if you had a taller candle. And I recommend also some pretty patterned napkins. Now, if you're going to use napkins, what you want to do is remove the, actually you don't even have to do this, but you will get a little bit better chance of success if you take off that back piece here, because you really don't need it, especially if you're going on a candle that's darker. If you take off that back piece, this will just kind of blend in a little bit better. And I had picked these up quite a while ago at the Dollar Tree, so that's also from the dollar store. You can work on a cutting mat, or you can put some paper down to protect your work. This will scrape off really easily from like a cutting mat, but I wouldn't do it right on your nice table or anything. And you're going to need some wax paper. You're also going to want a heat gun. Now I'm going to tear off about 4 inches of wax paper here. It doesn't matter what brand. This is probably Dollar Tree brand. You can get it all at the dollar store. What am I talking about? Get the Dollar Tree brand. And you just want to make sure it's about as wide, maybe a little bit wider than your candle, because you're going to be holding it tight against your candle. Now, if you don't have, I would really recommend using a heat tool for this, just because it's not going to blow a bunch of air. And what you're going to do is you are going to find a petal that you want to add to your candle. Okay, I'm just going to set it like that. And I think that you might not want to let them dry out quite as much as I did here, because they are a little brittle, so you might want them to be a little supple. And by the way, if you have a garden with your own flowers and you want to know how to dry them, I do have a video on how to dry flowers in your microwave using very inexpensive supplies, stuff you probably already have, so I'll try to remember to link that down below. So then you're just going to wrap the wax paper around and hold it nice and tight. Then you're going to turn your heat gun on, and you are going to heat the area until you can see the wax melt. Now, you can really use your imagination with this. You don't have to use only flowers. You don't have to use flowers at all. If you have some really pretty tissue paper you want to use, or napkins that you want to use, that'll work great. You can also rubber stamp on plain tissue paper and use that as well. That way you can, decorate your candles with any stamps that you have. A little crimp in my hand there. So you can see on the sides there, see how it's starting to get a little darker looking? That's because you're melting the wax. You're actually melting the wax on the wax paper too, which is fine. It will come right off because it's not, it's not going to adhere. And the smoother you keep that paper, the smoother you keep the wax paper, the smoother your candle's going to be underneath. So then I'm going to very carefully peel that back, and we've got our first candle down. Now you will get a little bit of a rustic texture on there from the paper, but I say go with it. It's easier to do that than make it perfect. And if you're doing this for like a wedding and you're making a bunch of these, then you might want to give yourself a little bit of a break and just go for rustic. Go for rustic. All right, now I'm going to place this back down. I've got another petal there. I don't want to press it too hard because it is a little bit brittle. I just want to flatten it a little bit. As it heats up and the wax melts, that can actually soften the rose petals a little bit and help it stretch without cracking. Yeah, that one goes a lot faster. And as I can see things melting, I can pull tighter on the paper, and it can pull that petal down without cracking it and ripping it. And don't freak out. If you get a ripped petal, don't try to dig it off the candle. Just keep on going, because I'm telling you, it is going to be so pretty when you have them all together. I just think this would be such a pretty wedding thing. And especially you're doing a wedding and you want to have pretty favors for your guests and you're on a budget. This is going to be a great idea. All right, do I have room for 2 petals, or do I want to just do one big one? Maybe I'll do, I'd like to do 2. I think I'd like to do 4. That one's, see, that one has little rips on it, but I think it's really pretty, so I think I'm going to use it. Yeah, why not? And then I can fit another small one in there, I think. Or do I want to look and see if I have a big one? Let's see, this one's pretty too. I don't think it's any bigger though. I think I could still fit two. I don't want to have a big gap in between the petals. So again, we're doing our same process. Oh, I did rip that one. So if you could see you ripped one before you glued it down or before you heated it, you can decide, do I like that? Do I want to try again? Do I want to try for a different one? Oh, this is a pretty color. Oh, I like the way that one looks. I think I'm going to go for that one. It does have a little rip, but I actually like it. So play with your design. Oh, I just ripped it further. Do I want to, no? Okay, do I want to continue with that? I think I do. I think I like that. So we are going to continue on. And this is just going to embed all of our things into our candle. So what I'm going to do is get back to you after I've got one more petal down, and then I'll show you how we put the tissue paper on. Spoiler alert, it's the same exact way. All right, we've got our rose petals on, and I think this looks pretty just the way it is. So if you don't want to do any more embellishing, this would be still very pretty on your, on your table with your rustic decor. But if you want to make it a little more fancier, grab your tissue. And I like stuff with just like text on it, or just kind of like an abstract type of organic design. And you want to tear some pieces that you can use. And I'm just going to try to keep mostly just the text there. Again, you could also take your tissue paper, stamp on a text from a text stamp. That would be nice. Or you could even cover a whole candle with like a design like this. That would be really pretty as well. So if you don't have dried flowers, that's going to be just as pretty. So use whatever you have, whatever works best for you, whatever you like, basically. That's what it boils down to. You're making this custom. You do what you want to do. All right, so this is easy. You just take that tissue paper, and since tissue paper is even thinner, it is even easier. So I'm just gonna try to, I think I'll maybe even tear it a little bit skinnier so I don't cover up too much of the petals. Although overlapping is fine. It does look pretty when you overlap it a little bit. That's pretty elegant. Once I've positioned it the way I want it, I'm going to again wrap the tissue paper, or the wax paper around it. And I try to hold it where, goodness gracious. Oh, such a professional operation I'm running here. Wrap that around. Time for some new wax paper, I think. I think we can get through this candle. So this can be a little time consuming and tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's so pretty. Another way you could probably do this, it would save a little time, like if you're doing enough for like a wedding, would be to use like wax melts. Like if you have one of those wax melters, like Scentsy type things, get a fragrance that matches your candle, or get an unscented candle and just use use whatever kind you like. And then yeah, I bet you could just dip the petals on and press them down. That probably would work just as well. So look at that, isn't that pretty? All right, we're gonna do, since my napkin wasn't long enough to reach all the way around the candle, I'm going to just, let's see, how much more do I need? Oh, I don't need much at all. I'm going to tear that a little bit skinnier. You could also use mulberry paper. If you got some mulberry paper in your stash from back in the day, that would be gorgeous. So gorgeous. Let's see, very repetitive. So repetitive, sorry about that. But so pretty. And then for embellishing, I think just a simple strip of twine or jute would look nice around the bottom. Also, if you've got any scratches, maybe you got your fingernail on the top of the candle or something like that when you were holding it, all you have to do is just gently heat the top and it will remove any scratches that you might have put on there when you were handling it. I was pretty lucky with this one, but the other one I wasn't as lucky with, so I did have to heat it. And also rounds the edges a bit and makes it look a little bit more artisanal than a Dollar Tree candle. I'm just gonna grab, and this is also from the Dollar Tree, it's a craft cotton twine, so it's like they had a bunch of baker's twine, and it's the striped kind, and I also really like, get some solids too, and I thought this craft was really pretty. I've used it on quite a few little projects so far. And a tip to save twine is to, or ribbon, is to work from the spool and not trim it until you're done, if you can, if it's like just doing a knot like this. Hopefully I can get it tied to it enough. My fingers are so covered with wax. And then snip it off, so that way you don't end up with, you know, you don't end up wasting any. And you could put just drop a glue if you wanted to, but it should stay. Or you could just blast it with a heat tool again and help it like just anchor into the wax. You could also use little buttons if you wanted to. A couple little buttons would be really pretty. Now if you're noticing some stuff that you don't like the looks of, like maybe the wax just got a little too opaque or thick, you can gently heat it up and melt it a bit. Try to avoid drips, so I would just kind of like melt it and just spread it out thin a little bit. But honestly, I wouldn't mess with it too much, because then you run the risk of having like a big dent in it or something. But there you have it. I'll show you with the wood slice. Isn't that kind of pretty? And of course, you know, if you like a softer look, go with lighter colored petals. You could dry some flowers from your garden. It would be so pretty. And I just think that this is a great way to use some stuff that you have, and also use some very inexpensive supplies to make beautiful party favors or wedding favors. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting.